government control or out of control. You know, the cryptocurrency market is the Wild West relived all over again. Very little regulation, breaks the rules. Stocks and bonds, they have this giant set of rules they have to follow nonstop. In crypto, it's just kind of, okay, I'll do this instead of doing a big, thorough review of what they're going to do. They do a white paper. Is it government control finally is kicking in? China controlled it so much they killed all the crypto in China. So, or is it out of control? Gary Gensler. Surprisingly, Gary Gensler is actually the one I went to MIT to learn all about cryptocurrency. He became the Securities and Exchange Commission chairman. So referring to Gary G is going Michael Corleone in the baptism scene. Okay, from the Godfather movie. Really, Binance is nervous right now. This is just recently within 2023. Binance, one of the largest crypto exchanges, it faces allegations by federal authorities over its conduct. The latest filed in federal court comes from the Commodities Future Trading Commission. They're accused of all kinds of allowing illegal derivatives trading, helping U.S. customers circumvent compliance controls. They're wild. They're crazy. They're doing all kinds of, well, actually, cryptocurrency is really doing a lot of different things. One of the main issues, and I've mentioned this multiple times before, is that it is different. It doesn't go through the banking system. The bankers don't make money on it. Don't believe for a second that they're going to let control of all the financial assets on planet Earth over to this wild world of cryptocurrency. They have to get a piece of the action. Oh, by the way, so do the CPAs, so do the lawyers, so do the government regulators. It's all out there, and this is going to happen eventually, no matter what happens. Everybody's pushing back, saying, how dare they infringe on the turf that we've had for so many centuries? It's a big deal, but the question really, if we ever have an opportunity to have any input into this, is does crypto need to have the control that's out there? When you have over the massive number of cryptocurrencies, over 23,000 have been in existence, and only just over 8,000 today exist, there is a problem. So that being said, how many people lost money? But they knew about the risks just as much as the stock market, just as much as Las Vegas casinos. It's all out there. So how much control is too much control? Crypto's going to war against Washington. The crypto industries are fighting back into the Godfather mode, except now it's on the other side. The SEC issued a Wells notice, pretty much, which warned of a lawsuit. This is a big deal. The issue really comes down to when Coinbase is the world's largest crypto exchange, when they receive a Wells notice, in other words, in the aspect of you're going to be sued, okay, in the disclosure, they're not telling everything that's going to happen out there. And here is probably one of the biggest things. They're charging the crypto companies for misleading people, and the SEC's challenging it. But the biggest thing is watch this over here. The environment's creating a threat to our economic and national security. If the environment doesn't improve, much of the industry will shift overseas. They're focusing in on the Wells rule of actually filing a lawsuit, shutting down currencies unless they comply, and start counting cryptocurrency as the equivalent of a security like stocks and bonds and other types of trading commodities. That is not what cryptocurrency is. It doesn't represent a stock or part ownership of a company. It doesn't indicate debt of a company like a bond does. It doesn't indicate a lot of different things, but cryptocurrency really is this focal point over here. When we start talking about the different aspects of what it is a different critter altogether and doesn't resemble those whatsoever, but they have to start building fences and building walls to try to contain it, probably is the perspective on it. Then also get a piece of the action in the process, maybe a commission off the top of it. Seriously, that could be where this is going. So you have a lot of different aspects. If the SEC prevails, it could shut down the trading of almost all tokens in the United States. Coinbase and others that to register as brokerage exchanges, register tokens, coins as securities, and tokens aren't securities. Okay, they can't use the same frameworks as stocks and bonds because there are different things. A coin or a token does not represent part ownership in a company. It doesn't represent a demand to pay it back like a bond does. So you don't have a stock, it doesn't look like that at all, or a bond, yet they're going to try to use the same rules and regulations for it. The agency isn't just banking against the one on Coinbase, it's also filed lawsuit against Ripple. So you'll see a whole series of them going after larger companies, and the ruling is expected in the next few months that could affect a lot of SEC's action against Coinbase. We're going to be seeing this happening over the next 2 years when it comes down to government regulation, and we'll see where it ends up. Does cryptocurrency need regulation? A lot of people think that it does, especially if you're a banker. Okay, the SEC like to open a pathway to register business for them, maybe, but we'll see what happens. Gary Gensler, the SEC chair, is brilliant. He's smart, he's clever, but all that being said, the reality is he's representing a body of belief that needs cryptocurrency, needs to be totally regulated, making certain it abides by all the laws, and making certain that everybody can see all the transactions and who's doing the transactions just as well. So, source material, SEC has passed a massive number of regulations, many targeting crypto. In the year 2022, typically you'll have the SEC passing maybe 3 or 4 rules a year. The SEC in that year passed 26 different rules. So how much control is happening? There's massive amounts of controls happening. We'll see the impact, but really crypto has little control on it by governments, bankers, brokers, and the financial establishment. It's often looking at competitors for current highly regulated securities. So isn't pushback against a new kid inevitable? Government control or out of control? You decide. Take care.